Hey guys, it's your girl Alicia, truly walking by faith, and we are back with another video. That's right, guys, I said back with another video. If you are interested in affordable fashion, thrifting, and lifestyle, I would love to have you. So please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because I'm a vibe. Anyway, guys, today's video is a little bit different than my normal. Today is another little sit down chit chat type of video. I wanted to create some looks today. And I planned, I should say, to do some Pinterest inspired looks. But I was really struggling to perform today. And I wasn't able to come up with the looks even though I had the looks already, you know. I had already decided what I was going to do and I just had to put it together. But I was struggling to do that. And that's what prompted this video. I decided that I was going to not do it. I wasn't going to do the video. I came to a place where I was just like, you know what? I'm not in the space to do it today. I'm struggling to create. I'm just not going to do it. And so that was my answer. I decided that and I was fine with that. But then I started to get a little annoyed because I had said to myself, listen, you are trying to grow your channel. And in order for you to grow your channel, you have to keep showing up. You have to keep showing up. And so that's what I have been doing lately. If you guys noticed, if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer or subscriber, you rock with me, I rock with you. But anyway, I say all of that to say that, I was trying to create and I was stuck. And I wasn't stuck because I couldn't come up with looks. I was stuck because it was more mental. And so that's what prompted me to do this video. Because as I said, my channel will focus on lifestyle and I would like to be authentic. And this is real life. This is what happens sometimes in real life. Sometimes in real life, we want to show up. We want to get up every day. We want to do all of the things, but sometimes you're just not able to do it because your spirit isn't in the right place, and it doesn't mean that you can't have a moment, and I say that to say, like it's okay to have a moment, but don't allow yourself to turn it into days, weeks, months, years, because it's easy to fall into a place of depression. With so much stuff happening in the world today that we in, it's easy to get depressed. And I know because I was depressed. I was depressed for a really long time. For the first time in my life, I was depressed. And sometimes depression comes with, you know, grieving. You could be grieving somebody, or you could just feel like you're not in a place that you want to be financially, or some people struggle with, feeling accepted, or some people are struggling in their marriage. Some people, it's just so many different reasons why you may be struggling. Depression is real. And I don't feel like I was depressed today. Yeah, I was a little bit sad. I will say that I was a little bit sad. And I think that's what stopped me from being able to create because my mind was somewhere else. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. How do you show up when your mind is not in that space, you know? And I won't go into all of the details of what is happening in my life so much right now. You know, I am a very private person, I will say that, but I don't mind talking and sharing my life, to a certain extent, I'll share. But part of it is, I just know that this is real life. I know that there's a lot of people who struggle every day that can't get up, that don't know how to get up. And for me, it was just a moment of like, I'm trying to create looks and I'm not able to get up and perform. But for some people, this is their everyday life. This is their real life story where you have to get up and you have to try to put your best foot forward. But it's so hard. It's hard to get out of that bed. It's hard to get out of your own head. You want to do all of the things. You want to be great. You set your mind to say today's going to be a good day. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do all of the things, And then when it's time to do it, you just can't do it. And I know that that's for a lot of people. I know that that's reality for a lot of people, So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because maybe I can help somebody, inspire somebody, or maybe somebody can inspire me, you know. So feel free to, leave some input in the comments that might help somebody else as much as it may help me. And I'm hoping that my message today helps somebody else because the reason I decided to get on here and still talk was because I had made up my mind that I was going to be consistent, that I was going to show up, that I was going to keep creating. But when it came time to execute, it was extremely hard for me. I struggled today. I tried all day. I had the looks. I could even turn the camera around and show you where, I started to create the looks, but I just physically wasn't in a space to do it. And I just, say that to say like we all go through things. We all battle different things and we don't know what somebody else is going through, And I always say, you know, if you look good, you feel good. But sometimes that's not easy to do. Sometimes it's not easy to feel good. You want to get up and you want to feel pretty, but how do you get to that place of doing so? So for me, one of the things that I've learned to do and the way that I've gotten myself out of the space that I was in, because I was really struggling, I was really battling some things. And I could say I was grieving. But for me, I was grieving people that are still alive. I was grieving friendships that I thought I had, relationships that, didn't work out the way that I thought that they would, people walking away from you that you never thought would walk away from you, you know, and family members. I'm talking about just coworkers, so many different things. And I was just losing so many people at one time. And it put me in a place that I hadn't been in before. I lost my mother some years ago and I lost my father. I lost my grandmother. I lost all of those people, but I lost those people when I was a lot younger. And so, of course, that does something to you as a person when you lose the most important people in your life, you know, and you're at a young age and then you have to continue to grow up and you have to continue to navigate through life without these people. It changes who you are, whether you want it to or not, it does. But I've always been a kind, loving person, at least in my eyes. I always felt like I was. I always tried to show up and treat people with love and, try to not look down on anybody because you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know their story. And I believe we all have a story, you know. That's what creates us into the people that we are. But for me, I was grieving so many people at one time. And that was so hard for me because these were people that I loved, truly loved. You know what I mean? And I won't say loved because I still do love them. But it put me in a place of acceptance. I had to accept people for who they truly are and not for who I thought they were, But I say sometimes God, because I believe in God. I don't know what you believe in, but I believe in God. And so I feel like sometimes God has to allow us to go through these things so that we can see who people are and also to help us to understand who we are and to also change who we are. Sometimes you have to really sit back and look at yourself and change who you are. Don't worry about focusing on changing other people or, being so judgmental of other people. Sometimes you really have to sit back and look at who you are as a person and look at how you showing up in this world. And for me, that was important. That's always been important. I always tried to be the best mother that I knew how to be without having a real foundation. I'll touch on my story a little bit. My mom was addicted to drugs my entire life. So I say The odds were stacked against me from the beginning. But somehow I was able, no, I won't say somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to still show up in this world as a decent person. Not always the best, but a decent person. And I tried my hardest to pour into people around me. I try to show up for people who are around me. I try to be there for people who, you know, are around me, because that's what I know to do. Because I've learned through my own life experience how it is to not have, how it is to be judged, how it is to be felt, to how it feels to be left out, all of those things. So I try to show up in this world and give to people around me. Always try to be my best self. And sometimes that could be a good thing and sometimes it could be a bad thing. But one of the things that I learned on my journey is that you can't change other people. People are going to be who they are. You can only change who you are. And you can take a moment to sit and cry if you want to cry, close the curtains, have your little party, your little pity party, your little whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you have to be strong enough to pull yourself up and keep going, because nobody else is going to do that. And that's what I learned. I learned in my time of grieving, I'll say, because it was definitely grieving. I was grieving people who are still alive. I was grieving friendships that I thought I had, and some of that was even my own children. Some of that was honestly my own children. And walking away from, not me walking away from them, but them choosing to walk away from me. And, I won't talk too much about that because that's a sensitive subject, and sometimes when you put certain things out into the world, people feel like they can talk about it or they can touch it. And that's a sensitive subject for me, my children. But I had to grieve a lot of things. And it was hard for me. And so today I found myself kind of back in that space, where I was a couple of months ago or a year ago. And I said, no, ma'am, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this again. You're going to get up and you're going to keep going and you're going to perform, because you have to keep going for you. Your kids are going to create their own life. They're going to have their own story to tell, but you have to keep going for you. My kids are grown. My youngest is 15. She's not grown, but I'm just saying that to say, like, I'm not talking about 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds. No, I'm not talking about that. But I'm just saying that to say, I have to keep going for me, because at the end of the day, that's all I'm going to have is me. And I guess the reason that I chose to still do the video was because that was something that I said I was going to do. I said I was going to be consistent. I was going to get on here and perform every week. I don't care if I only get one viewer. I'll take it, because eventually I'll grow. But you can't grow if you're not consistent. And, don't worry, guys. I know I've been watching some of my videos and I see where I need things that I need to work on. I see I needed to work on my lighting. I see I need to work on my mic. I see I need to, turn my camera like this. I see. So I am trying to get better. But most important, I have to be consistent and I have to show up, because nobody else is going to show up for me if I don't show up, But I just wanted to say that for anybody out there that may be dealing with depression or just feeling alone or sad or whatever, I just hope that my message can inspire you in some way to keep going. Every day is not going to be, high heels and makeup and lipstick and mascara. Every day is not going to be that. But it's important to still show up, even if that means showing up in your bonnet and your robe. But be consistent. Show up for you, because that's what's important. Showing up for you. You have to keep going, even when it seems hard. Keep going. Every day won't be high heels. Some days you're going to have to put on your Timbs and thug it out, but keep going. Keep going. Don't give up. It won't be dark every day. It won't rain every day, but you got to keep going no matter what's going on around you. Push yourself, motivate yourself. And as I was saying before, the way that I found my strength was God. I had to call on God. So I don't know what you believe in or whatever power you feel you need to call on or believe in. Do what you need to do, but keep going. But for me, I'm going to keep calling on God because He answered me. He heard me. And sometimes He have to remove people from your life because they don't mean you no good. You think that they do because that's just the loving, kind person that you are. This is the things you would never do certain things to people that they did to you. But He allows you to see it. So now you know how to deal with these people. Now you know how to keep going. Now you know how to navigate through life. Still show up. Still show up. But just watch how you show up. Show up for the people that show up for you. Be there for the people that's there for you. Keep going. No matter what it looks like. Keep going. Keep going. And so that's my message for today. I don't want to make this too long, but I just hope that I can inspire somebody to keep going. Keep going. Even if you got to show up in your bonnet and your robe, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Because it'll get better. But if you throw in the towel and you don't show up, you can't grow. Sometimes God got to remove people from around you because they don't mean you no good. So don't take it as a bad thing. Just take it as He's making room for the real thing. So that's my message for today. Keep going. Even if it don't look like what you want it to look like, even if it's not rainbows and sunshine and high heels and mascara, keep going. And don't worry, guys, I'll be back next week with my Pinterest inspired looks. So until next time, guys, it's your girl Alicia, truly walking by faith, and I catch you in the next one. Peace.